Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with our inaugural Inner Banks Fishing Report with Richard Andrews of Tarpam Guide Service. How you doing, Richard?
I'm doing well, Marvin. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm looking forward to doing this with you. And, folks, we're excited to kind of, bring a little bit more of a salt focus to the Articulate Fly. And so Richard will be with us every 2 weeks and want to kind of get the latest on the Inner Banks. I know your weather is kind of, we were talking before we started recording, it's kind of moving from being a little bit warmer than normal to kind of seasonable, and talking about kind of how that's impacting the shad fishing and how's the striper fishing going.
Yeah, we're in a kind of a regular spring weather pattern with cooler nights and cooler mornings and fairly warm afternoons, and so it's shorts in the morning and long pants in the morning and shorts in the afternoon for me. But the shad fishing is wrapping up. We had a great shad season on all of our eastern North Carolina rivers. Had a beautiful class of hickory shad on the Roanoke River this year, bigger than normal, 3 and 3.5 pounders, and had some great fly days on them using sinking lines and typical shad flies. So the shad bite for us usually starts in late February and kind of winds up petering out about the first week of April. So here we are, the first week of April, and it's kind of over. There's still a few around to be caught, but it'll be really over here in the next few days. But what that means is, great spring striper fishing, and that's where we've turned our attention. Right now we're fishing the lower Roanoke in the Williamston, Jamesville area and near the mouth of the river. Having some good days. We had a triple-digit day today, and it's catching them on conventional gear as well as fly gear. The fly fishing has been pretty good when the fish are suspended, and we had a client the other day. We caught over 50 on the fly, so it was great fishing.
Yeah, it kind of goes without saying. And how are you targeting the fish right now on the fly?
Using sinking lines. We use anywhere from a 250 grain, 30-foot sinking line to a 450 grain, depending on where we are. And we'll couple our line weights with, appropriate rod weights. So I have a variety of rods on the boat each day, and we'll just depending on the situation that we're in, how deep we need to get the bait or the fly, we'll switch our line weights accordingly. Using clouser patterns, mostly they tend to work the best this time of year. Sometimes we're using some articulated flies, but mostly just clousers, keeping it pretty simple and just getting the bait down to them, and kind of a long, fast strip tends to do the trick, and they'll hit it. And sometimes we can catch them on top water as well. So we'll have a floating line on the boat as well with the poppers or crease flies, and the water temperature's up in the low 60s. So that's definitely warm enough for top water. And that's kind of been the pattern lately.
Yeah, and so, on your clousers, are there any size or color combination preferences you can share with us?
What we typically fish is, there's the old saying about stripers, either white or chartreuse will do the trick. And that's kind of the case with the flies too. We need chartreuse and white, white on white, pink on white, blue on white, olive on white, just patterns that look kind of like what their natural forage, which is a river herring. And sometimes we'll double them up. If we're catching some smaller stripers, we'll use a tandem clouser rig, and we'll catch 2 at a time. And I think sometimes having a double fly will help, get their attention more. So you get more bite. You get more single bites on a 2-fly rig sometimes. But we if they're bigger fish, more like the 20 to 30 inch class fish that we see a lot, we'll just use a single fly because you don't want to have 2 of those on. It's just too much.
Yeah, there you go. And so I guess we were talking before we started recording that I guess the regulations have changed, and that's affecting angling pressure for the stripers this year.
Yeah, so the Roanoke River, North Carolina is managed, the striped bass in North Carolina are managed by management areas. The Roanoke River is its own management area. And they had, because we haven't had a productive spawn the last 4 years due to high river flows after the spawn each year. So we've had high water at the wrong time of year, and it's affected the recruitment of juvenile fish. And they reduced the quota this year, our harvest quota, which I've never really been a huge fan of harvesting those fish on the spawning grounds anyway. So I don't have a single problem with reducing the harvest. The Roanoke River Management Area used to be open from March 1st through April 30th. Now it's only a 1 week season on the lower end of the river from April 10th through 16th, which is coming up this Friday. And the upper river season will be open for a week up in Weldon next week. So we're down to a 2 week season to reduce the harvest, and it's definitely shifted things around. There's more pressure directed in certain areas just for shorter periods of time. And, but overall we're seeing less people out, which is nice, I think. More fish for me and, less boats on the water.
Yeah. And I guess too, how over the next couple of weeks, how is the striper run going to progress?
Well, it's all water temperature driven. So these fish are kind of in a heavy pre-spawn mode right now. They're literally everywhere. They're on the spawning grounds already. They're all up and down the river. They're out in the sound still, so their fish still coming. But they have a really a tendency to just all gang up at once when that water temperature gets right. So I imagine usually by about the end of April, first part of May, those fish are in heavy spawning mode. And when that water temperature reaches about 66 to 68 degrees in the river, you'll start seeing spawning activity. So they'll be spawning late in the afternoons, early morning, and all throughout the evening, at night, in the dark, the dark hours. They'll spawn constantly, and that'll be primarily probably the first week of May. Usually, year in and year out, it's right around that time of year. And so we're coming right up on that. The fish will be up there until probably the middle of May, and there'll be some hanging around post spawn, and then they'll start making their way back down the river, back out through the sound.
Well, there you go. And folks, we love questions on the articulate fly, and you can email them to us or send them to us on our Facebook and Instagram page. And if we use your question, I'll send you some articulate fly swag, and then we will also enter you into a drawing for something from Tarpam Guide Service at the end of the season. I think, Richard, if I remember correctly, we talked about the prize being a gift certificate.
Yeah, absolutely, Marvin. We're going to do we'll do a half day fishing charter and give a gift certificate away to the lucky winner.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. So while the season rolls on, you need to get those questions in. And before I let you hop tonight, Richard, and get a well-deserved adult beverage after a day on the water, why don't you let folks know where they can find you so they can book you and fish with you?
Well, the best way to find out information about me is through my website at www.tarpamguide.com or via email at richard@tarpamguide.com.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, folks, you owe it to yourself if you're down in eastern North Carolina to go chase some stripers. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Richard.
Thank you, Marvin.